Hi again, everybody. This is the Thursday class for Venture B2, this book, okay? Today's video is going to be a little bit shorter, and I'm going to try not to give you so much work because I gave you quite a lot of things to do on Tuesday, okay? So what I'd like you to do is go to page 82. We're only going to do this page today. We're not going to do more, so we can really concentrate on the use of English and the vocabulary that you can see here, okay? So in the last class, I gave you a couple of sentences on the whiteboard, on this board. Remember, it said some things you need to cut down on, some things you want to cut out of your life, and a new sport or activity or hobby that you want to take up, okay? So, take up is a phrasal verb with take. We're going to practice some phrasal verbs with take today, okay? So, have a look at number 1. Match the phrasal verbs to their meaning. I'm going to read out all of the meanings and I'm going to explain each one to you, and then you have to match it to its correct letter. Okay, so number 1 says, Brad's sister took him out to dinner in a restaurant for his birthday. So take someone out to a restaurant is like accompany someone, invite them to eat out. Okay, number 2, he really takes after his father. They have both similar looks and the same personality. Take after is look similar to your mom or dad or your grandma or grandpa. Okay, for example, I take after my mom because we both have the same color hair and we both have the same eyes. Number 3, what happened? Had nothing to do with me, so please don't take it out on me. Okay, take something out on someone. This means if you're really angry about something and you are angry with somebody who's not related to this situation, you take it out on that person. Like, for example, if I'm making these videos and all of a sudden, please don't, my computer breaks down, it crashes, okay? And I'm so angry about this situation and I go into the other room and I start shouting at my husband, that I'm taking it out on him. He's not in this situation. It's not his fault. I'm just angry. So I take it out on him. Number 4, she's just taken up tennis and she's already really good at it. Okay, we've already said taken up. Number 5, I was so busy that I couldn't take on any more tasks. I couldn't assimilate any more responsibilities, do any more things. Number 6, Olivia's parents didn't take to her new friend at first. Take to someone means to start liking someone. Maybe when you guys first started class with me last year or the beginning of this year, you might not have taken to me right away. Maybe you didn't like me. Maybe you don't like me now. I don't know. But it just means to start to like someone is to take to someone, and not take to someone means you don't like them. Okay. Number 7, she took over as the new head teacher when Mrs. Potter retired. She took over. So take over is to take a new position. Okay, so all of these examples are here and you need to put the correct definition with the correct example. So pause the video and do number 1. Okay, now that you're finished, we're going to go over the answers. So you've done number 1. I'm going to say the number and the letter. Okay, I'm going to say the English letter. No, I'm going to write it on the board. It's just easier that way because we won't get confused with E and I and all that stuff. Okay, so number 1 is, let me just check. There are 7. Yeah, there are 7. Number 1 is E, like this, E. Number 2 is A, like this. Number 3 is B. Okay, I think you know that. B, the letter B, B. Number 4 is D, like this. Number 5 is G. Number 6 is C. And number 7 is F. Okay, there we go, like this. Okay, so now what I'd like you guys to do is have a look at number 2. You need to read the sentences and choose the correct alternative using these words. So we learned these words. Now you're going to practice them, okay? So pause the video and do number 2, and then we'll do it together, okay? So now that you have finished, we are going to do this exercise together, number 2. I'm only going to read it. I'm not going to write it, okay? So, do you usually take 2 new people quickly? 2 is the answer. Number 2, have you ever had to take on extra responsibilities at home? On. Okay. Number 3, has someone ever taken you out for a special occasion? Number 3 is out. Number 4, who do you think you take after more? Your mother or your father? So the answer is after. Number 5, would you like to take up a new pastime? Take up. A pastime is another word for hobby, okay? So now that you've finished that, have a look at number 3, where it says dependent prepositions. This is really, really important because you need to know which preposition goes with these different sentences. So you have to decide. You choose the preposition. There's no list of prepositions. It comes from your head. On, in, at, after, over. What do you think? For example, number 1. What preposition goes with first, last, or the weekend? Would you say after first, after last, after the weekend? You can say after the weekend, but you can't say the other ones, so the answer is not after. What about on? On first, on last, on the weekend? You can say on the weekend, but you can't say on first or on last. What about at? At first, at last, at the weekend? Yeah, you can say at for all of them. So at is the correct preposition for number 1. Can you pause the video and do number 3, and then we'll do it together. Okay, so now that you've finished, we're going to do it together on the board. Okay, so we said number 1 was at. I'm going to write it here. Number 1 was at. Oops. Okay, like this. Number 2 is on. Number 3 is with. Number 4 is in. Number 5, sorry, you can't see that. Number 5 is at. Let me just double check that. Yeah. Number 6 is, let me see. Number 6 is for. Sorry if you can't see this. There you go. Number 7 is to. 6, 4, 2. Yeah, and number 8 is about. Okay, so these are the answers for number 3. It's at, on, within, at, for, to, about, at, for, to, about. Okay, I'm just double checking. All right, guys. So these are the answers for number 3. I was going to make you write a sentence for each one, but I'm just going to give you that as optional homework, not obligatory homework. Okay, you can write 1 sentence for each prepositional phrase about yourself using the prepositions. It's not obligatory. It's an option if you want more practice. For example, at the weekend, I like eating ice cream and watching films, for example. Okay. The last thing I want you guys to do, which is homework, okay, so there's just 1 piece of homework in this class, is number 5, okay, an open close. So this is part 2 of your reading and use of English. You have to read the text, and as you can see, there are 8 spaces. There's no options. You need to decide what belongs in each space. It could be a preposition. I mean, it's usually a preposition, but be careful. It's not going to be a noun or a verb, okay? It's going to usually be a preposition or a type of phrasal verb or an expression like that, okay? So number 5 is the only homework you have for today. Okay, guys, so actually, That's the end of the class. It's actually quite a short class because I just wanted you to focus on this language and we can talk about it, and that way you won't feel overwhelmed by having too much work. Okay, guys? So remember, next week we don't have any class on Tuesday and Thursday, but I'm going to send you some resources so you can practice your listening and maybe your speaking as well. Okay, guys, have a good week. Bye.